Hello and welcome to another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, the Professor Russ Stevens, Uncle Joe McLaughlin, and he's JP's first son, Tim. Well, we have another great show for you tonight, so boys, let's get it started. We said every week, and you guys agreed, I had you sign, we're starting with the 18-time world champion Boston Celtics. This week, we're talking O'Shea Brissett. Nobody likes their 17th player on the team of a 15-man roster more than the Grandstanders and Boston fans. Brissett wants to come back. Is there any room for him? And I actually thought he played
no room at the end, Scotty. There's no room at the end.
He should have made his commitment a couple months ago.
Yeah. Who did you say? I'm sorry.
Brissett.
He wanted to test the free agent waters, and they said go ahead. And now they've signed people, and
because he opted right, Russ. We always
they've moved on.
He opted out, Russ, right? I mean, what he had probably like a $2.5 million, $3 million deal. What was it?
Yeah, he thought he could do better in the free agent market. I think he was a minimum deal last year and made a bet on himself. And the problem is that the bigger conversation that's going on in the NBA right now isn't it time for expansion? Because guys like O'Shea Brissett, Lonnie Walker, there's probably 8 to 10 guys who are recognizable names who would be in rotations who may not get contracts.
Yeah.
My take on that, this is a worldwide sport now. They're drawing from the world.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. Joe, you get guaranteed money. A guy like Grant Williams has to thank the good Lord above because I don't know.
That one game he had in the playoffs, man, he should get on his knees and thank Jesus. Baby Jesus every night for that game.
I hope his salary as vice president of the players union is very good because he might have to fall back on it.
No, but my point is, does that deal exist even now anymore? I mean, those deals may have gone to the wayside when you have quality players who are looking for minimum deals now.
Well, they're looking to expand.
But is part of that the superstars are taking up such massive chunks of the cap?
No.
There's not a lot left over. There's not many scraps left over for the rest of the guys.
I agree with you, Tim. I think that's what's happened with this CBA.
No, the CBA, that's exactly, Joe. The CBA is just screwed up. I don't know. Who does it benefit? Does it benefit the owners? Because I don't know why the union signed off on that.
They did a little too much tinkering, I think, more than they should have. Instead of trying for 8-10-year CBAs, they should go for 2 or. I know the owners want the long term, but they should have gone for 2 or 3 so you can correct the mistakes as you go along, be a little more dynamic.
Yeah, Russell, it doesn't allow player movement, right?
Yeah, it's going to take a little while to sort out, and I think these guys will figure out ways around it. Thing about it is, Brad figured out a way around it early and realized that the way to beat this CBA was to get Drew Holiday late last year and get him under the wire before the really sort of tough penalties hit. Because if you opt in now to take on big contracts, you're going to get hammered right away. And the Celtics got like a free year last year,
Brad's so smart. He's just
so smart.
Well, and going forward, the CBA will have to change with the increase in the salary cap.
Yeah.
Because with all the new TV deals coming on board in the next year, the salary cap is going to increase, and the Celtics will likely be below the second apron easily.
Will the Celtics be able to acquire a veteran at the deadline?
No. I mean, yes and no. You'd have to. The contracts you could trade, Scotty. Let's assume they're not trading the top 6, right? Hauser's contract for this year is very low. It's a minimum before it goes up next year. Pritchard makes $7.5 million, and Jordan Springer makes $4 million. But the thing about it is, the thing to remember, unlike in years past, where you could take Pritchard's contract in Springer's contract and get 11.5 million and get a better player, you can't do that anymore. You can't aggregate salaries. So the if you don't trade one of the top 6 players, the biggest salary you have is $7.5 million for Pritchard. So you have to do better than Peyton Pritchard for $7.5 million, which isn't easy to do.
Yeah, it's all apples to apples now. No more mixing and matching.
Most
That's
likely,
right.
in Pritchard's case, you'd be looking for Timmy. You'd be looking for a different position need. Right? I mean, if you were trying to trade him at a deadline.
Yeah, you'd be hurting for.
You're asking the wrong guy.
Well, Russ, right, Russ, would you be right?
Yeah,
now?
I mean, look,
Yeah,
if you lost, if Horford went out, let's say Horford goes out in December,
yeah,
and Porzingis is coming back, and you're down a big, and Tillman and Cornette aren't getting it done, you could try to trade Pritchard for a big, but like, how many good bigs make $7.5 million, Scotty?
yeah, right, exactly, yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So, like, you're not. So the answer to your question is no. They're not going to bring in a vet. They're not going to bring in a veteran at the deadline because they're loaded with veterans at the. They'll be loaded with veterans at the deadline. It's their team.
Well, Joe, yeah, you're right, Russ. Great point, Joe. How does this benefit the players? This new CBA, I don't understand how it benefited them to sign this.
Well, it would they thought it would benefit the rank and file, but it turned out the other way, that the owners are trying to get these super teams together, and getting the new formula seems to be get three max guys on your team. And
It's a star-driven league. It's a superstar-driven league.
you can't just have Batman and Robin anymore. Now it's Batman, Robin, and Alfred.
Yeah, who does the CBA serve? The middle class, the lower class?
No, it always serves the upper class.
The upper class.
Oh,
yeah.
It always serves the upper class.
Just like everything in life.
Yeah, because this really truly does do that.
Absolutely.
I mean,
They've come up with a CBA that basically hollowed out the middle. There's very little middle class. There are very few middle class salaries in the league.
But
These teams
there's
are
more low class guys now too, because
there'll be no limit on what teams will do to hold on to their megastars. If it was 100 million, they'd be giving it to them.
Well, this just shows you the value of stars now. I mean, like you said, to have this player movement now in the top level, you're not going to see it. That'd be suicide for a franchise because you're not going to get them again. I mean, these guys, but that's good for the NBA too because I like it. I don't like the player movement from the stars. Let them stay in the same team. And
you think this was the league's way of stopping that team shopping?
Yeah, I don't know. It's so complicated to me. Like, they institute one rule and there's unintended consequences that they didn't foresee. And it takes I think what they wanted to do is create more player movement and make it punishing for teams like the Celtics to hold on to their players for too long. So I think it remains to be seen. It's going to take another year or two before teams like the Celtics say, we can't do it anymore. We have to start moving.
But we remember when, 3-4 years ago, every summer it was like, this guy's going here, this guy's going there because his buddy, the superstar, Kyrie was doing it, LeBron was doing it. Everybody wanted to go in to win a championship. You know what I mean? Every superstar in the league was looking for a sunshine and a championship.
That's still holds true.
But does this restrict that a little bit? Is what I'm saying?
No, not really.
No.
Yeah.
Only if the owners decide they're not going to do it.
Because you can pay.
They're the
nobody else.
Nobody else. Checks.
Nobody else can pay your guy like you can.
That's right.
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 Yeah.
The bird
So
rights.
that kind of, unless you're LeBron and you have $1 billion in the bank, these guys are all trying to make as much money every year as they can.
That's
So
right.
if they have to take a significant pay cut to leave and go play with 2 other superstars to get a championship, they're making it tougher a tougher decision for that player to leave their home team,
But
right?
Tim, there's also the thing where if they go take less money to go to, say, New York or LA or Miami, when they go to those places, lots of other revenue streams open up for you in media, in entertainment. So, that's always a consideration too. They have an advantage.
Look,
If you're playing in Oklahoma City or some other
Right. Oklahoma City's not drawing nothing.
yeah.
look,
Well, you're not going to make the extra money.
Well,
in
that's why
Oklahoma City.
the guy there, I forget his name. He's got up like 20 first-round draft picks stockpiled. That's
OKC.
the only way they can build.
Look, part of the brilliance in the last few years has been the NBA hot stove, and which was 365 days a year. This CBA has seemed to have screwed that up considerably.
There's nothing this year.
Every
NBA channel, all they talk is WNBA because nothing is happening in the NBA.
But it was
Nothing.
brilliant, right, Russell? It was brilliant. I mean, they were
Well, yeah,
500 trade rumors a day and keeping them viable.
I think there was less movement this year, but look, I think it's still going to take some time to shake out. I wouldn't sort of declare this a complete disaster. I think it's a weird year because it's not fully in the new CBA. It's kind of the transition thing.
And I think the players can opt out of this 10-year deal next year. If they decide it's not working, I don't know when the opt-out is for the owners, but I think the players can opt out after next year, and they have to get a new CBA.
I don't know if Adam Silver would agree with me, but uber NBA teams like Celtics, the Michael Jordans, the Pistons, the Lakers, are the NBA at their peak when you have an uber team, when you have a team that's winning a couple of championships in a row, you have dynasties. I think it is, but is that the case? Do you guys believe?
I agree with that,
Golden
Scotty.
State, yeah.
I do agree with Golden State, Joe, being your most recent, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully
They boosted the ratings.
Hopefully the Celtics attain that status. You know what I mean?
Well, I think this is it. Yeah, this is the big year. Will it be the Celtics or the Nuggets who can take that torch and carry it and start trying to be a huge dynasty? And it seems like the Celtics are set up better.
The league, to me, does seem more interesting when everyone's trying to knock that guy off the perch. You know what I mean?
That they did a lot of their off-season jockeying happened before the Olympics for some reason.
Yeah.
The Knicks made all their moves, the Sixers made all their moves, the Suns made all their moves, all before the Olympics. And that's why the hot stove is kind of, petered out right now in the NBA.
Well, Brad Stevens somehow, I don't know what he's got up to. Look, I do believe that Pritchard's in his mind, like the Marcus Smart and the Rob Williams deals were. Those deals were made with those players to trade them. Would you agree?
It's a nice, neat package, right?
Yeah, but you have to do better. Like Pritchard was a very useful player last year, helped you win a championship. Like I don't know why we're going into this year thinking they're going to trade Pritchard.
Yeah, you need guard depth.
If you need something that you think Pritchard's salary can buy you that's better than Pritchard, maybe, but like it's not a lot of money. And so I don't know how you're going to do much better than that.
And they might like Pritchard in the locker room. He might be a tremendous teammate. There's more than sometimes than just what you see on the court.
Like every year you want to trade Pritchard. What's wrong with
Pritchard hatred?
This is your kind of guy.
He doesn't have my man Marcus to pick.
I like Pritchard.
He needs a target on Russ. You know what I mean?
No, look.
Come on, Scotty, get out!
Would you? No, I look. He's a defensive liability. I mean, I'd be fine.
I thought his defense was much improved last year.
Less so than 2 years ago. Much less so than 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Look, would you agree that Brad Stevens has a trigger finger, an active trigger finger, and he needs to do something?
Well, Scotty, no, I don't believe that. I think that if he sees an opportunity to improve the team, he will do it. I don't think he's just going to do it to do it.
Scotty, he hasn't done much at the trade deadlines the last 2 years. He got Jordan Springer last year. I don't even remember what he did the year before. he tries to set the team up before the year starts.
Yeah, he's
That's
done everything in the offseason. Yeah, I know, but I mean, you don't think he gave
Oh, and
them-
he got the big guy from Texas. It's
Yeah,
Scotty.
Tillman. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
marginal guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ninth guy in the rotation.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just look. It just seems a natural, and I know I'm not in love with Pritchard's game. Again, he's very good at half court shots. I'll give you that. But in the playoffs, he's not. Come on, we can do better than that.
You know what I think Brad does? He targets guys that he would really like, and then he tries to put together scenarios where he could maybe acquire that player. You know, and
Oh,
if Pritchard would be part of that, like he clearly wanted Drew Holiday. You know,
Well, I have
He's
to be
not a
honest with you.
starter. He's not a starter, Scotty. He's there if Drew or D. White gets hurt and has to spend like a couple weeks on the sidelines.
I need one player of every team that has to go. I just need that. I don't know. I don't know. This is
Daniel
tough.
Nava.
It's usually the coach, but you
I
do like
do. I
Psycho
need
Joe.
really, yeah, he would just make an awful GM. It's all about emotion. It's all about gut instinct. There are guys he likes. There are guys
Everybody
he
would be
hates.
walking on eggshells in that
Wants to
locker
sign
room. and
anyone
Scotty
who
would.
looks at him, anyone who flirts with him. He wants to sign to a 7-year.
So this would be what would be happening. Scotty from down the hall would hear chatter and banter in the locker room, and then as soon as he would enter the room, there would be silence.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see. But I mean, again, clearly Pritchard's time is possibly numbered.
No, not clearly. It's clear to you. It's
clearly.
not clear to us. What are you
You've been
talking
saying
about?
this for
You
3-4
can't let
years now.
go. You can't let go of it.
Remember, Danny Ainge drafted this kid.
Yeah, but there you go. So Stevens has no loyalty to him.
It's not clear, Scotty. You can
Stevens
say
coached
it, but
him.
it's not clear.
All right. Well,
What the hell is wrong with you?
the Pritchard watch starts tonight, and we'll see how it goes.
He's got to grab, like he said, Scotty. You admitted it. You got to grab onto a person on every team, and you're gonna gnaw away at, pick away at. You know what I mean?
We have
But
to
you
drive
can't
right
find a
down.
Daniel Nava on this team.
I know.
Look, nobody's driven more Patriots out of town than Joe, so I don't know what he's talking about.
That's true.
I
That's
mean,
definitely
Jesus,
true.
Joe, you drive everybody. Anytime you hand a player a ball and he's called a running back, Joe wants him out of town immediately. So I don't know.
Oh, I like not this Harris, but the old Harris. I like Stevenson. I like these guys. Zeke Elliott is fine with me.
What are you talking about? You've been ripping Stevenson since he came into the league. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
No,
Joe.
he's just used poorly. He's not the problem. The way he's used is they always have to bleed out for that stupid screen pass when there's a linebacker right on top of him and it buries him as soon as he catches it.
Russ, tell Joe what he's been saying.
You've been pissing on David Andrews and Ramondre Stevenson for every year for the past every year they've been in the NFL, Joe.
Oh my God. Oh. Every year you have them replacing Andrews. Would you agree? Because he's undersized.
Well, I think it's his last year, so this will be it. I
Joe,
mean, he didn't play at all during the preseason. I think this is his last year.
Hey Joe, if you predict this is David Andrews' last year every year, you're going to be right eventually. It's like
I was that way with Junior Seau.
Like
He
a
kept
broken
coming
clock.
back.
oh God.
Yeah. He still he wanted Nick Chubb on the team. When Nick Chubb's like 56 years old, he's still going to want Nick Chubb on
Well,
the team.
he's still a decent NFL back. They had what's his name? Who was the guy they drafted instead?
Tony Michelle, the guy.
Sonny Michel. They had him signing autographs and being a greeter this year at the training camp because he can't get a job in any real training camp.
Oh, that was a bad pick. But he actually played pretty well the first season when we wanted.
Well, and the other one in that first round wasn't that good either. The other kid from Georgia, the left tackle.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, right.
They didn't pick up his option after the fourth year either.
Yeah, right. Win. All right, we're gonna go to the Boston Red Sox. And look, all season, when you guys started the year, you guys did the under. I just need I need some clarity. Timmy, what's your bet for the Red
I
Sox?
believe my number was 77.
So you got 77 as the bet.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think the other guys did better than me.
Much
Russ,
better.
you got, what do you get, 83?
I got 80 and a half.
80.5.
80 and a half. Yeah.
See, it's like everything. It's like in the stock market, I get everything when it's its peak, and with the over/under, I get it when it's its lowest, and then I pick low.
Yeah.
Well, I remember that night we were talking, and I asked what the over/under was, and Russ said, "That's a good question." And he goes, 80.5. I'm taking this. And when we got off, I jumped on the bandwagon too.
Yeah.
I followed Russ right
Because-
And then a week later, I heard, and I jumped on it.
No, because you heard Timmy, then you're like, oh, I forgot, and then you're like, what was that over/under? And then you immediately just do the bet.
Because I take my phone, it opens right to DraftKings, and I push a button, and I lose $100, and I lose $100. You know what I mean?
Well, they're 70 and 70, and they
Yeah.
have 22 more games left, right?
Yep.
So
Not playing well. No
Um,
veteran
Yeah,
leadership.
Bring up all the kids. Bring up all the
10 and
kids.
12, we win.
but the
I-
White Sox is so pathetic. But
Yeah.
that's probably the big problem.
How many games do we have against the White Sox in the
3
next
this
20
weekend.
Just 3.
Um,
Just this one. Just this series. We have 6 against Tampa, though.
if we got swept by the White Sox, obviously Core is going nowhere. But what happens is, do they? I mean,
No,
They
do
get
nothing.
some veterans next year. They give
right.
a fuck.
They
Get rid of
they do
O'Neal.
nothing. It's
There's
not
nothing. You
Core's
can't
fault.
get rid of Devers.
Right.
But they have no veteran leadership on that team. Just look at what they got. It's a bunch of guys that are glad to be here and a few veterans that don't give a rat's ass.
well,
Kelly doesn't care. O'Neal doesn't care. I mean, just look at the veterans. The only 2 guys really playing every night are Duran and Abreu.
well, I'll tell you something. Wong's value seems to have diminished
Oh,
considerably.
they played him too much this year.
It felt
Even
like
when he
that.
wasn't catching, they put him out at second base or first base, for God's sakes. He played like every game.
Is this a big Russ? Is this big fuck you to Breslow? With Cora? Because he seems
Yeah, I mean, Gore doesn't have the horses right now to run in the race. It's pretty clear that they regressed to the back of their baseball cards, right?
They pulled Rich Hill from the Little League diamond in Milton.
And he was probably pitching better there.
He coached a Little League team in Milton this summer.
yeah.
He's been terrible. I wanted them to get him, and he's been awful.
What was the expectation at this point? I mean, come on.
44 years old.
Well,
I mean,
he
look,
kills some innings for you, you know.
The death knell was, he picked up 3 guys at the All-Star break, and they've been terrible.
Terrible.
All 3 of them.
Especially Jansen. He's the leader. He's the leader of the no-care veterans. Cora called him out the other day saying, this guy stinks.
Oh, he did? Yeah.
Yeah. He said, this guy's not even trying.
Wow. It's funny because I liked the idea of Jansen, right-handed hitter. Thought, maybe you guys, re-sign him. Though he makes $6.5 million right now for batting. Like,
For me, all the blame falls in John Henry's lap.
Totally
No,
agree,
please.
Timmy. Totally agree. You have to spend money. They're trying to do this without spending money. You can't do this without spending money.
And
Period.
if we had the lowest prices in the league, or if we were at the bottom 5th of the league in prices, but you can't charge champagne prices and give your customers beer.
no.
I mean, that's what they're doing here.
He wants to do it like Baltimore did and Tampa Bay did. And it doesn't work that way around here. If you
doesn't
charge
work.
them those prices, you go to Baltimore or Tampa and you get in for $5 and you get a good seat for $5.
The Yankees.
It's $250 for the same seat here.
I always like to put the Red Sox on the same level as the Yankees. The Yankees never do this. The owners are always spending, always trying to. And I know the Mets have shit the bed, but I give their owner credit. At least he freaking spent some money. He's trying. Henry isn't trying. He wants to do this, the Tampa Bay way.
Well, this breaking news from the Grandstanders live desk, and nobody has said this. So let's start the outrage because of Joe, we have intelligence that the Red Sox are increasing their ticket prices for next year.
Oh, of course they are.
A dollar a seat.
That's for our seats. So we know, we have proof. It's that literally they have already decided to charge more for a substandard team. Does this mean, I'm being kind here, that John Henry plans on spending more money?
No.
If the nether regions are going up a buck or two, imagine what the high-priced seats there down by the dugouts and stuff are going for. They're probably getting a $50.
I don't think John Henry talks to the baseball people anymore. I think he only talks to the financial people
now. Russell, look, the Red Sox didn't spend any money this year. Will fans? They only sold out Yankee games and I think like a Seattle game or something. That's the home season.
And opening day, and that was it.
Yeah.
Oh no! Oh, was it opening day? Because was
opening day, one game against Seattle, and all the Yankee games.
But even on opening day, you can get a ticket for like face value principle.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they papered the house.
I think they told us last year what their strategy was, which was when this team is when the foundation of this team is ready to compete, we'll spend. They said that. And which I think everyone took to mean when some of these kids come up and establish themselves, or the young guys establish themselves, then we'll supplement by spending a lot of money. My question to you all is, are we any further along than we were in April when they said that, right? Because Duran sort of established himself a little bit shaky. Wong had an okay year. Abreu had an okay year. Mayer's not starting next season with the Red Sox, right? I don't know if Campbell is. Roman Anthony might. Kyle Teal's not. So one of the big four is going to start the season maybe with us next year, maybe.
None of them are pitchers.
And none of them are pitchers.
No, so much development has happened this year. I mean, you wouldn't.
It's going to be at least incredible. 2-3 years before we see pitching development from all the changes they made this last season.
If we take it as true, like, hey, when the fundamentals of this, when this team, the foundation of this team is ready to compete, we'll spend money. Do you think they're going to spend money this November and December?
Well, just quickly go around. Duran, like you said, has developed. You couldn't even imagine. He's one of the best players in baseball. Rafaela, solid guy, and he should just get better and better. How? I mean, he's a legitimate starter. We all had questions about that, right? I mean, this is a guy who basically quit at the end of last year. Crawford, legitimate starter. Bayo, legitimate starter. So we have a lot of questions. I mean,
I don't know. I mean,
what about Giolito? Is he going to be
They'll get Story back. Look, I just hope that whatever algorithm that they've built spits out that this team with 3 really good high price additions can compete for a title, and they spend it. Because I'm with Timmy. If they don't, they're just going to take us for another ride next year.
Positional players, who would you go out? I mean, would you spend money on the positional players?
On Soto?
I mean,
you need a star. We need a star.
Soto would change everything. Soto would change everything in this town, right?
We need a star.
Would Soto, right? I mean,
I guess.
To take him from the Yankees for free? Oh, no way Henry's going to do that. No, not a chance.
Well, because he's going to want, I bet you he's holding the Yankees up for like Trout or Ohtani money, and he's not going to get that.
That would be, yes, but they need stars. Look, what did Manny Ramirez do for this franchise? Changed it.
Right.
I mean, and that was big money back then. Remember, he was a star for the Cleveland Indians.
What a great 3-4 punch that was with Manny and Big Papi.
Yes. So my question is, we'll start with Joe. Joe, are they going to do trades? Are they going to trade prospects, or are they going to spend money in the offseason?
Well, I would say that would depend on their evaluation of the big four there. Who is going to be a major leaguer? Who isn't? If two of those guys they don't think are going to be everyday major leaguers for one reason or another, trade them for pitching. That's their immediate need all the way through the organization. They have no pitching in the minor league levels yet. They're developing now. No pitching on the major league level. They have
they have
mediocre
some.
guys.
I'm not
They
gonna,
have made, I mean, Houck's a nice one. Bayo's a nice. They're both above average. Cutter's average, below average, but they don't have any like what Russ wants stars. Isn't Cole gonna opt out of his Yankees contract? Would you go for him?
I don't know if I would. I don't know if I would touch him, to be honest.
Doesn't he have a couple Cy Youngs to his name?
Yeah, but he's on the back end, I think.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you have to sign him to a 10-year deal or even a 4-year deal. Maybe he'll go for 3 years.
Timmy, I know your answer because you know that you don't believe Henry's going to spend money. So if he can peddle some prospects out there to get something.
I don't think we're ever going to see the old days of the Red Sox ever again, ever. I think he's made his mind up. It's an asset. Give me the algorithm that gives me the most profit at the end of the year, and that's it. I think that is just completely how they look at this program now.
But Tim, we had stars even back in the Yawkey days. They had Ted Williams, the greatest.
I know, Joe.
Hitter in baseball, yeah.
Listen, that's I've been barking up the tree saying, just give me some stars. I don't even care if we don't, finish in first or whatever. Give me some stars to watch play baseball. Some Fred Lynn's, Jim Rice's, Manny Ramirez's, Pedro Martinez, Kurt Schilling.
Well,
Give
the
me
hope
some
is that they're
fucking
developing
stars for my most money I'm paying for a ticket in the league. Put the money on the field, please.
Well, Russell, we saw the Woo Sox and couldn't been more impressed with Roman Anthony and physically and just the way he carries himself. And he's just been crushing in AAA.
Yeah, I think
Did you guys have good seats?
I think he's great seats. I think he's the number 2 prospect in majors now. Let me just get back to one thing just to finish off what Joe and Tim were saying. The guy, if you go any free agent list for next year that you look at, the number 2 or the number 3 player, but the top pitcher is Corbin Burns. And every one of these websites has the Red Sox being interested in him. If they don't sign Corbin Burns or make an all-out highest offer for Corbin Burns, this whole thing's a joke.
Yeah, right.
You can get
Now, do you think they're going to do the usual song and dance? Oh, we tried really hard, but somebody else beat us.
We were in the running.
But he's a young-ish starter, not injured, dominant, National League, American League. Sign the freaking guy.
Just replace Jordan Montgomery and Blake Snell last offseason with Corbin Burns this offseason.
But they don't do it. Right. They're not serious.
If they get Corbin Burns, I'll eat my words.
Because
I don't believe they will.
Because we know
I think they'll do a song and dance like they tried really hard.
But they have so much money has been freed up.
Just like they did with Sander, just like they do all the time. Now,
I agree with you. I mean, but look, he's losing money in the box office. There's no question. Whether he's going to free up a lot of money in the Chris Sales of the world with their contracts, so he can literally stay at the same budget and go get a Corbin Burns.
Now how about the TV ratings? Is he getting murdered there too?
Probably.
Well, it just goes, last place teams don't draw a lot of ratings. And I can't see who's paying for that Nesson Plus. What's it, like $35 a month?
I play golf with guys who we were all Red Sox fans. Like, I used to have a ritual: eat dinner, watch the Red Sox. Those days are gone for me.
No, but Timmy, they were a fun team a lot of the year. This part of the year that they've obviously.
Duran was as good a player as I've seen on the Red Sox in a long time.
I don't want a 5th place team with no stars on the team.
Yeah.
Duran's an up and comer. We're the Red Sox. We're not some
I agree with
schmucks.
you. But Durant was the star this year. I mean, if
Oh, he was great, but
performance-wise,
Yeah, but he's not. He is, and he's young, but also Scotty gets himself into something or more than one thing every year. He's not the most. He doesn't have a ton of charisma. He's a really, really good player, right?
Yeah, he is.
But he's not the guy that Timmy's talking about. He's not Juan Soto. He's not what Manny
Aaron
Ramirez
Judge,
was with
you know,
David
the Aaron
Ortiz
Judges
or
of the
Aaron
world,
Judge
you
or
know?
any of these guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
no,
And
he's
he's
not.
28,
No, he's
he's
not.
28 years old next year. He's 28.
Yeah. And just watching, we got up close. We saw a little batting practice in the cage with Teal. Teal's not it. So we're talking about the top four.
He's
I'm
hitting
telling
like
you,
130.
Scotty,
in
Scotty,
AAA.
you sound like a guy who wants to break up with the girl, right? But you
Finding a
just
reason.
you just keep but she's a good cook, and she keeps the house tidy, you know, but everything else is missing in the relationship. Come on, open your eyes, Scotty.
no,
See
no.
that John Henry has abandoned us.
Mhm.
No, he is. Look, I understand that completely. But like Russ said, he said that he would spend if all of a sudden when the young players have developed. If he doesn't do that this offseason, I'm never going to be out on the Red Sox, but I agree completely that what are we doing here? You know what I mean? Because as far as pitching development, like Joe said,
Couple years away.
they're single A and single A, they're lottery tickets at single A. We know with injuries, especially now with Tommy John surgery every 5 seconds. But look, Roman Anthony could be the very star that we're talking about. I mean, I have seen the Messiah from baseball, and his name is Roman Anthony.
He wasn't
thought
even
his- I
like
thought
in
his- I
the
thought
top 100 until he broke in late last year
Wait, I thought his
into
name
the
was
top 100. Now he's number 2.
I thought his name was Cassis.
No, Cassis. Look, Cassis is a great player.
Cassis is dead to him.
No, Cass is a great player, but I wouldn't sign him to shit. Seriously, there's not a
Last year, Scotty, you would have signed a 12-year deal if he had said yes.
Yes.
minimum.
No, he was talking 10 years.
That's
So.
the minimum, absolutely. Now I'm not. No, that sorry ass little cream puff.
No, he's got to change his attitude. Someone's got to change his attitude.
Yeah, I don't know how that went so bad, and I agree with Mayor. I love Mayor and all that stuff, but if you don't play, you're dead to me. I got no use for you. I don't care if you don't play. And who even hip pointers and crap like that, lower body injuries? Who even when you're that age, did you even know you had a lower body? I mean, what the heck? I mean, look at Vaughn Grissom is now out again for lower body injury. Who are we bringing in?
That sounds like a hockey injury.
Who are we bringing in here? I mean, they got to get some tougher guys. This is just ridiculous. And Teal he's Blake Swihart. Just so you know, I have no love for Teal. You better keep Wong healthy because Teal's nothing. Would you agree, Russell? Were you impressed by him at all?
Looks very small.
Right.
So's his batting average at AAA too.
So we
Very
were down in the bowels of the stadium, so we got to where they do the indoor batting cage. And when he was up, he was hitting, and Priester, their new acquisition, was actually feeding him the balls. I thought that was like a little middle infielder, didn't you, Russell?
Yeah, he was small.
And we know small catchers. Yeah, get him out.
Long small for a catcher.
Yeah, but no, you should see this Teal kid. Oh my God, he's a freaking jockey. Get him out of there. So now look. Now I all of a sudden I'm getting rid of one of the prospects. There you go. It's Teal, and
I'm rubbing off on him.
let's go get our little Binky. I want that Scooble kid. So we need a lefty. I want that Scooble kid from.
Oh, I'd really love him.
Oh my
But
God.
Detroit's not giving him up.
All right, well, we'll see about that one. Teal, Cassis, and one other guy for him. Would you do it?
They probably wouldn't.
They probably wouldn't do it. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna go to the New England Patriots, and it's happening, boys. This is our preview for the up and coming season. The Messiah will be sitting right now. He will be taking it all in and people will come to him on the sidelines, and he will whisper to them the wisdom that he's obtained through minicamp and his exhibition play. But Brissett, do we really want to see Brissett play football?
Well,
I'm fine with him. I'm fine with the Patriots not putting May in there right now.
It's just going to be boring like it was last year with Mac and Bailey Zappi. You know, it's going to be handed off, screen passes, little flare.
I think Brissett is a large upgrade over those two names you just mentioned.
Oh yeah, he's got more of an arm. He's got more balls. He's got more legs.
Scotty, you're going to be awfully happy that Jacoby Brissett is playing quarterback when he's running for his life in his own backfield by the second quarter, and you're going to be sitting there saying, "Thank God the Messiah is sitting on that sideline."
And the worst thing is the Messiah probably takes a second longer in the backfield than Jacoby Brissett, so he's in more danger than Jacoby.
What's the over/under on procedure penalties to the first Patriots game?
Oh my God, 15. What was it last? Wait, wasn't it? How many penalties did they get the last exhibition?
Like 7, 14? Didn't they?
No, I thought they had 14.
Yeah, but I think 7 pre-snap. Pre-snap.
Yeah,
before they even start the play, you got.
Wasn't there like a whole quarter where there was like a flag on every play or something like that?
Well, they did 3 in a row, right?
It just seemed like that yellow thing on the screen was there the whole quarter.
Look, I think that Brissett's not gonna. What's the over/under on when Brissett gets hurt? Because he's getting hurt.
I'd say 6.
6 games.
5 or 6. Yeah.
What if happens if he's just ineffective? Are they going to be howling?
Why, Joe? If he's ineffective because he gets no time, I think that's different from he's inaccurate. He's throwing interceptions.
Yeah,
the receivers aren't open, right?
Were you guys excited?
I'm more excited for the football season.
Like I said, I'm officially like in Jets fan mode. I'm already looking at the draft for next year.
And it's all defensive players at the top of it, Tim.
They have 2 edge rushers going first and second in some of these drafts.
I wouldn't mind that. You give me
if we can get 2, like 2 out of 3 of the best linemen in the draft, I'll be happy as a clam.
I don't mind getting a great defensive lineman either, but we need a great offensive lineman first.
We got our quarterback now. Now we can build from the inside out.
Somebody loves talking about the 2025 draft before the year starts.
That's all we got. That's all we
got. We're in Jets fan mode right now. You know what I mean?
We're guaranteed to be in the top 5 picks, right? And it's worth trading back to a guy if someone wants a quarterback.
The majority of the mock drafts I saw have the Patriots picking first.
Yeah. Well, that's what a lot of ESPN, not what it's worth. ESPN ranks the Patriots the worst team in football. So that's
well, it's not that they're the worst team in football. Other teams are ranked worse. The Patriots have a tough schedule too.
Second toughest schedule in the league.
On top of being a terrible team, they've got a tough schedule and a rookie coach. There's a lot of marks against them right now.
Okay, we have to talk about.
We'll survive too, and they'll play another day.
You know, people were talking about talent when it comes to wide receiver, and people thought that Polk was a reach, but Polk seems to be kind of an ideal citizen type and a captain type. Then they draft for the 4th round. They do the whole talent thing, and they get that knucklehead Baker who decides that he should live stream on Instagram every one of his wonderful thoughts that come to his knucklehead, and he starts ripping on the Massachusetts police, saying that they work for him.
How do they dare to give him a ticket?
Is he one of those sovereign citizen dudes?
Yeah.
And he paid. I don't even know. Has he paid any Massachusetts state taxes yet? I mean, he's like, no. I pay taxes. They work for me. He just got here. What do you pay for? What, for a Starbucks? What are they? Was it the sales tax he paid? What is he even talking about? So Mayo, you got to give him credit, right? They said, well, what are you going to do with Baker? They said, now think about these words, guy. This one word. They said, we punished him. like he's 8 years old. Can you imagine them saying we punished Willie McGinnis? I mean, right? Nobody. So failure again, right? We know how this works.
What do you have to do? A couple laps around the field?
No,
Scotty, you bring up an issue that I'd like to point out here. Most of the good teams that I played on, the discipline came from within your teammates, from the leaders on the team. You know, the locker room.
Right. No, but look, the guy's a knucklehead. We know how this works out with guys like him. He's a bust. I don't even need to know anymore. The last time we saw a guy live streaming on Instagram, it was Jay Groom. If you
he was the second coming just a few weeks ago.
Jay Groom, remember the picture for the Red Sox in the high school?
I loved him. I loved him.
Yeah, he was live streaming him like smoking dope and stuff, and that was it. We know when you got to that level and you're that big of a knucklehead, it never translates again where you're going to be a legitimate professional.
Well, he was like an 18-year-old kid, real dumb.
Look, again,
Siobhan Baker's been to 3 different colleges, so,
and
probably never took a course in any of them. But
again, how many third and fourth round picks is how you build the roster, and how many of these in the last X amount of years have been complete and utter non-contributing busts?
Scotty, the draft is a crapshoot. Just look at all the guys that don't make it from the first round, where these guys have spent 50 years in football scouting, watching more games every month than we've watched in our lifetimes. They live and breathe football, and they thought that Mac Young might make it, or they thought Zach Wilson or Lance, whatever Lance's last name was, or Trey Lance, Justin Fields. They bet their careers that these guys were going to be the next big thing, and yet they're all busts. It's a crapshoot.
Yep.
But we're doing very poorly, Russell. That was very good soliloquy and a very good joke. That was excellent. But Russell, we're seeing that the failure, the success of the Patriots was always the middle class of the players that they were able to do. The last few years, the middle class has been non-existent because they've done such poor job drafting.
Yeah, they've had bad drafts, and I don't think you would necessarily rule this draft a bad draft yet. I mean, we're a long way from that, but you can't afford. Belichick put them in a position where they have to hit on a lot of draft picks right now to make up for the bad ones. A
lot of times you don't need to have good drafts, so necessarily. You do need to have good coaches who can coach up and develop those guys. Those third and fourth rounders don't have the measurables or the talent of the first and second rounders. What they need is coaching to get up to that level.
Yeah.
And the Patriots haven't had the coaching.
We used to have one defensive back a year off the street make the team. Remember that?
Yeah. Well, we've done very well.
Malcolm Butler, remember?
Well, they did. They did. A safety did make the team. Pettis, I guess, is the guy's name.
Yeah.
He did make the team this
Yeah,
year.
but we've done very well.
And contribute to the team too.
Oh my God, they've always.
They have 19 years straight.
They've always figured out the defensive backs, no matter what. They've done a great job. All right, so this is what everybody's been waiting for. Everybody, all week. What's your prediction for the Patriots? This is final. I may have said some stuff in the past.
I may have said some stuff.
We do have some tape on you. A prediction.
I may have said, but this
I may have said some stuff in the past. He says.
Well, this is formal now. This is counts. Timmy, you want to get out your notepad? Timmy's you also, Timmy. Remember, you in a few weeks you're going to have our the results of our predictions for the Red Sox.
Yes.
Your notepad. So Timmy is our recorder of things. We're going to start with Uncle Joseph, our football expert. How many games the Patriots play? Again, reminder: Patriots play 17 games. How many will they win?
Same thing as I said last week and the week before. 4-13 is
4-13. And
I'm rooting for 6 or 7, but I don't think I'm getting.
All right, Russell.
4-13.
So
and Yeah, both of us. I've got in my long shot bet is Patriots with the worst record and the Detroit Lions with the best record is plus 3,600.
Oh, nice.
Oh, you
All
bet.
right, Joe, you were 4-13.
Yep.
Yep.
Russ, 4-13.
You bet
Yep.
that
Oh,
I bet that.
36 to 1.
well,
I'm
Russ has come down. Last week he was the optimist with 5 wins.
Russ,
Plus-
what was the bet you made?
4-13.
That's what you bet on.
No, he parlayed the Patriots
Oh, my
to have
bet
the
is
worst record.
that the Detroit Lions would have the best record in the NFL and the Patriots have the worst, and that's 30 plus 3,600.
So 36
For
to
how much? For $100 bet?
No, I didn't put $100 on that. What do you? I'm not made of money, Timmy. Jesus, what the hell?
Max Kerman, who's always very good. He has the Lions winning it all. If you remember, he had the Rangers. So he has the Lions winning it all this year. That would be a great story, to be honest with you.
They were good odds because I can't see them not winning their division, so they're guaranteed the playoffs.
Yeah.
And it's a crapshoot, then anyone has a chance.
That coach is, what's his name?
Dan
Campbell.
Dan Campbell, yeah. Actually, just saw an Applebee's commercial. I don't know if you saw that he just did that. It's very, very humorous. Very, very funny if you guys have an opportunity. All right, Timmy.
I got 3-14.
Wow.
Wow. That should do it, right? That should be the worst record in football.
Oh yeah, that'll be the worst record.
Yeah.
What was Carolina last year? They had 3? They 3-14?
Yeah, I think they had 3.
What were we? 4-13?
I think I can't
think we
remember.
were
I don't know
5
if it
and
was 5 or 4. Can't remember.
Scotty, what
Wow.
did we get you at? What do we get you at, Scotty?
Okay, because the Messiah is coming. He's playing. And you guys can't handle it. We've talked about so much about this being a similar to the Bledsoe year, where all of a sudden things started to improve incrementally as the year went on, as Drew played. And what did they finish? What was it? Was it with a 7-9 or a 6-10?
That's 35 years ago.
Well, no, but things tend to repeat itself. You're a history historian.
What did they win? Like 4? They went 4-6 at the end, or something like that. On 5 and
Drake May
5
is
and
coming.
1.
Drake May is coming. You guys can't stop it. You guys are going to have to pay homage to me as I tell you, as I share this with you. The New England Patriots will be 8-9 because Drake May will come, and Drake May will be here. I would not be.
Russ, you remember what his prediction was last week, don't you?
Because I didn't realize that Drake May was going to play so quickly. Look, the fact is that Drake May is going to be playing, and I will predict this. I would put this money down. He will be playing by week 2. There's absolutely no question about it. He's going to be playing.
There it is right there. There it is right there, boys.
And so I wanted also to separate myself from you 3. So it's clear and evident that you guys are not believers.
Scotty, you separated yourself from the 3 of us a long time ago, my friend.
Last week it was 3-14.
I don't.
Cam
it's
Newton was the
schizophrenic.
savior.
He's
Cam Newton was our
schizophrenic, Joe.
savior. 12 years, lock him up.
Guys, if you remember, I've been predicting.
Cassis was the golden boy.
I've been predicting the seasons correctly now, almost every season correctly.
Oh, God.
Well, you were the most pessimistic last year, and they did turn up a stinker. You were the closest.
I've nailed everything. I've nailed them, and I'm going to nail this one. 8-9, boys. Take the over. It's happening because Drake May's coming. And Joey made a great point. And we'll finish up with the Bruins, but Joey made a great point. If he shits the bed, what do you think they're going to wait till week 7? They're not doing that. Mayo's not doing that. Brissett's coming. Brissett, he shits the bed those first 2 games.
I don't know. Does Mayo make the decisions, or does Wolf and Kraft make the decisions when?
Yeah, are they looking themselves in the mirror before the season and say, "We don't care what happens. We got to protect this kid."
I think the heat gets too hot quickly for these guys.
Well,
shame on them for not getting a veteran in here, and then through training camp that they could, if Brissett went down, that they could throw in there.
we all know the heat's going to get hot. We all know it's going to get red hot, Scotty. So if you're the owner of the coach and the coach of this team, and you're not thinking it's going to get red hot around here, you are in. They must know it's going to get red hot. They must know what's coming down the pike. You know.
Okay, well, who's getting the most heat? I would say it's Wolf. I think Wolf gets. I think Wolf's the.
Oh, unfortunately, Mayo's going to be the lightning rod for it, but Wolf should get the.
But it's a rebuilding year. We all have to accept that. We all accept that, right?
Exactly.
Coaches,
Timmy, you know what this is? This is like a breakfast ball on the first tee. You got one, right?
Yeah.
You mishit it, they'll tee it up again next year, and then the pressure's really going to start next year.
You haven't played in 2 months, and you go out there and you have a crappy round. You go, you know what? I had a crappy round. Talk to me in 2 weeks after I get a few rounds in.
But the internet doesn't. The social media doesn't work that way anymore.
Well, Scotty, but if you're the owner, but you know it's coming. It's coming. As sure as the sun's gonna rise tomorrow morning, it's coming.
They didn't know the Bailey Zappi chance will come.
They have $50 million in cap space, Scotty. Do you think that if they really cared about winning this year, they'd be taking $50 million of cap space into next year?
They didn't do one positive thing to improve this team in the offseason. Not one thing. You can't name one thing they did positive to make this year's team better.
Well,
they got rid of Jude. They got rid of Judon.
That's a negative.
Sheer negligence that they didn't address the offensive line. I don't understand. To protect your greatest asset and ultimately,
unless you don't plan on playing him this year.
But the second greatest Patriot to ever play. Ultimately, is going to be the second greatest Patriot to ever play if you keep him upright.
But they know he's not going to see the field, so they don't have to worry about it.
Look,
I'm fine with them tanking, Scotty. We know it. You got to do this nowadays to get to where you want. The Celtics went to last place. Now the champions.
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. I can't root against
the Bruins went to last place. Then they became a champion.
Scotty, Russell will against them. You watch. We're gonna get the first "I'm rooting against him" text. There's no question. I'm gonna root for them until they. I think what I say last week, until they lose their 9th game, and then all bets are off. I don't believe that. You're gonna be rooting.
All bets are off. I love nothing more than they make a nice little run here.
It all depends. If the Detroit Lions have the best record, he might start a little
right. That's just protection. Look, I'll be rooting for them. I'll be rooting for them until they get their 9th loss, and at that point, maybe even 10. And then at that point, I hope they lose every goddamn past that.
Hey, I'm gonna root for them. You know?
Yeah.
I like Gerard Mayo. I like a lot of the guys on the team. I'll root for them. I just don't think they'll be very successful.
I'm realistic, and that's okay. They are what they are, you know. And hey, get a bunch of get a great offensive line next year. Build the line next year. You know, maybe get two of the top
first round,
2 out of the top 4 linemen in the draft next year. I'm okay with that.
I don't want. I'm not rooting against them until maybe.
Then we can have someone to protect Boy Wonder there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can still root for them even when they lose.
Yeah.
I'm just. I was.
You're disappointed, but it's not going to be a fun year. Get that through your head now. I know you said 8 and 9. It's not going to be fun.
Let's vow for some. But you guys, it seems like you guys ignore player development.
I know. I've said, Scotty, I've said all along, I want all their young players to do well. And once they get to and then I want them to lose every game past the point where they lose 9. I want them to play well all year.
Okay.
The young guys.
But would you agree that with the Ezekiel Elliott's of the world and the way Barmore played, that we kind of dismissed that fun stuff of why we love sports?
Well, they said Barmore's out for the year today. That's it.
They did. Well, that's
it was kind of deflating watching Mac Jones play and to be happy watching the team.
No. The quarterback play was an embarrassment, and having to watch Zappi and Mac Jones was horrific. All right, we got to finish up with the Bruins.
Oh, what about the BC game? We're not going to bring that up.
Oh yeah, let's do BC. Look, we don't cover college sports much, but first of all, Bill O'Brien. people tend to forget that Bill O'Brien was the failed offensive coordinator for the New England Patriots last year.
Well, he did well in college before at Penn State.
But he rebooted his
so-
career pretty quickly, didn't he? In the
So I'll
same
tell you this:
time.
my buddy Mike Roach, his son is the third baseman for the BC baseball team. His best friend is the Trapillo kid. Mike played golf with them a couple weeks ago. Trapillo is a fifth-year guy now. He said he's learned more in the last 3 months from his coaching staff than he did his whole football life.
Yeah.
He said this coaching staff is a completely different. These are all pro coaches in there now.
Yeah.
They're all pros.
Yeah.
He said the teaching that is going on over there is unbelievable right now.
Well, BC's offensive line looked bigger than the Patriots.
They're gigantic. I kept trying to find this picture to share with you guys. They all went up to play at George Wright Golf Course, and the guy who works in the pro shop got a picture with them. I don't think I've ever seen bigger human beings in my life. This Trapillo kid's like 6'8", 6'9". His mother's mad because they made him put on 40 pounds. He's like 320 now. He should be like 270.
Well, BC has a history of sending offensive linemen to the NFL.
Yep, this kid Kendall, the center, he was a massive recruit. Every college in the country wanted him bad.
His father's the analyst for BC.
Yeah,
him and John Meter Perel. That's the radio crew. Pete Kendall.
We had a great opportunity with the Flutie years to really be huge fans of Boston College and have great success, and they were very entertaining. They haven't been entertaining for a long time.
Well, this quarterback they got is exciting as can be too.
What year is
he? Since they entered the ACC, they went up, in class, and that's been tough for them, But the ACC's no great shakes in football anymore, so they should be able to, go to a better than average bowl this year.
I was watching, as I do, when a team loses, I go onto their chat lines and their YouTube pages. Florida State must have 10 different podcasts and YouTube channels that cover the game after the game.
It's Florida.
You never saw a more miserable pack of people. Well, they're committing suicide on it.
Remember, what was it? 6 days before they lost to Georgia Tech over in Ireland.
Nick Saban came in and said they had the best defensive line in the country. That everyone they were predicting every guy in that defensive line was going to be
everyone in that was last year. Everyone in that defensive line got drafted in the pros.
No,
10 guys drafted.
Joe, these are all guys that came in through the portal. Yeah. They're all stars, and Florida gave them the most money. They spent a fortune. This Trapillo kid, or Kendall's getting almost $1 million to play at BC.
He is
almost $1 million.
Who pays him?
I don't know. They make it somehow. I don't know. The boosters.
That has a sponsor.
What's that thing they get? The NIL or whatever. They're getting paid now. Florida State went out and paid a fortune. An absolute fortune for that defensive line.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you guys a question about this. Will it change now in football? When the rookies came, into the NFL, they were humble, they were working hard. But these guys are all coming in; they're already rich men.
What do you call
Caleb Williams was making $4.5 million at USC last year.
I thought
do you understand? This kid is making like $6-7 million now.
Yeah.
I mean, how does it? I mean, this obviously changes wrestling. This changes college sports, but how does it change the pros?
Yeah, it's a good question. Look, the fact of the matter is, most of the guys who get picked, in the top couple rounds, anyways, are guaranteed some money. So it's not like, I don't think it's that different for those kids. The ones that are getting paid are probably the ones that are going to be drafted in the first couple rounds, and they're getting some guaranteed money anyways. So I don't know, Scotty. I don't know that it'll change things fundamentally for them.
I think one way it might change it is guys might stay a little longer.
Well, that for sure. Yeah, totally agree.
And they have a little more leverage if they find themselves, they're probably going to go to this city and they don't want to go to that city. They'll stay an extra year and try to go, Going to
if
It's
they
Jeffrey
kind of
Plot or whatever.
surprising if you look at the top NIL money that people get. Sanders obviously the top, but 3 of the top 10 are women.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just in the hockey, the hockey portal, like someone said there were like 60 goalies in the Division I hockey portal.
Mhm.
60 goals. You go somewhere, they promise you the farm and you're riding the bench. You
Yeah.
want to go somewhere else.
So, guys, is it really? It's not an amateur sport anymore.
No.
Oh no.
No.
And
What-
nor
what-
should
It
it be.
never was
Nor
though
should it be.
either.
These guys are getting in trouble for taking a free dinner somewhere. And they were making the universities, the coaches are making $12-13 million a year, and these guys didn't have enough to go out and buy a 6-pack after a game.
No, I'm all for it, but the perception of it being a college sport has changed.
It's the reality of the world. They're bringing in hundreds of millions of dollars, and the kids
No,
weren't
I'm
getting.
all for it. It's just
The NFL won't take you until you've completed your junior year, until you're a junior eligible. That's in their CBA. And the NBA, they had it in their CBA. You had to be at least one and done.
There was a story out there one time. I think this player went into a sporting goods store or something, and he was like $5 short of buying, a $20 item or something. And he looks over, and there's a rack of shirts on, with his name on the back. Selling like hotcakes for $250 a piece.
That was what's his name in the Fab Five there in Michigan. He needed like $4 for a burger. He was starved. He's a big kid. Big eating, and it's the weekend. They don't have the training table.
All right, we gotta wrap it up. I know Russell has to go. All right, well, that's our show for tonight, boys. We can talk about the Bruins next week. Enjoy the Patriots on Sunday. I'm sure we'll be texting back and forth. I want to thank the fellas. Please check us out on our website at thegrandstanders.com and tune again next Thursday night at 7 o'clock for another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night.